Hi guys, Deanne here from Canada Abroad, and thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I've seen come up on a lot of applications that I've been reviewing lately. So if you didn't know, we review applications for permanent residence before they're submitted to check if there's any errors, omissions, or anything else that someone needs to be mindful of before submitting to IRCC. And what I've been finding is a lot of people are surprised or caught off guard when it comes to employment records. So it's not necessarily what is required from the employment records, which I'll touch on in a minute, but it's the number of employment records that they're being requested. So a lot of people think, oh, it's just the work experience related to my chosen occupation or my main NOC code that I've listed on the profile. But when you look at the work experience section, it's asking you to only enter information which basically is relevant for points for the Express Entry system. So if people are listing everything that they've ever done, whether it's been 5 hours a week, which we know doesn't qualify for points, or a low-skilled occupation that doesn't qualify for points, those things don't need to be in that specific section because they're not giving you any points under Express Entry. On your work history, you're just listing anything that you are using for points. Then what happens is once you receive an invitation to apply, new application forms are loaded. So there's more that you need to complete. And there's a whole personal history section that you can fill in all of that other work experience that you have that doesn't give you points. Now, only work experience that is listed in the work history section, so the one giving you points, only work experience listed there will request a record of employment. So if you had a part-time job and you worked 5 hours a week, you wouldn't list it there because otherwise you're going to be requested to give employment documents for that position when you weren't expecting to. So when you're completing your Express Entry profile and after you receive your ITA, make sure you're reading everything accordingly and only giving the information that they ask for. You don't have to give more than they've asked for because then you're creating additional documents for you and also for the officer to review that are not necessary. So it's very important to make sure that when you're completing your profile, you read through it and are doing it accurately and correctly. But a lot of people, what they're seeing is they're being asked for all of these records they didn't expect, and that's the reason. If you've listed things in your work history section, by default, it asks you for a record of employment. So also on this subject, it says, work experience, but you have to remember, depending on the category you're applying under, usually only work experience in the past 10 years is going to give you any points. So I've seen people give 20 years of work experience, even though only the past 10 years count for points. So they're being asked for 20 years worth of employment records, when in reality, they only maybe needed to give 10. So they're creating a lot of additional work for themselves. So make sure when you're completing your profile, you follow the directions, read it carefully, and only give the information that you're asked for. This will reduce the number of documents that you need to produce later, and you won't be asked for documents that you don't actually need. So thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and sign up for alerts so you can stay up to date with all the latest Canadian immigration news and updates.